Yeah, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Finest United podcast. I am your host, Lenny Bradley, and this is episode number 12, Social Media and the Influences on and off the job. First off, I just want to thank all of the supporters that have been supporting this platform. The last episode that we had was episode number 11, Living Legend with Ralph Friedman, and the feedback was awesome. Thank you, everybody, for the reviews, everybody for the likes on YouTube, on Facebook, for sharing it. Please keep that going. The more and more that you guys share, the more and more that you comment on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all of those platforms, Spotify. We got Apple and Google podcasts as well. The more people see that and the more people reach out so that we could provide great content for you guys. But let's get into today's episode. Now, as we speak about awesome guests, I wouldn't be able to have this man on today. He's shaking his head. He's like, yeah, whatever. He's like, yeah, whatever. I wouldn't be able to have this man on today if it wasn't for you guys. Anybody that's on the job has to know this man because of his commanding presence on social media. And for very good reason. He has been featured in Men's Health magazine and is taking things up a notch to help people through his influence. So, without further ado, let me introduce my man, Aaron Lohman, a.k.a. Huge Fat Loser. Aaron, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's up, man? Listen, we've known each other for a little while. I've been on a couple podcasts. I'm pretty excited about this one. Probably I want to say this is top 3 of I've wanted to be on for sure. Man, for real.
Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. You got me cheesing over.
I was kind of jealous that you had time on the job on before me. I was like, oh.
Now, you know what? COVID just destroyed everything. I had a great lineup. I was going to reach out to a bunch of people last year, and, COVID just bombed, especially here in the studio. They weren't letting people come in and record everything with Zoom. I just feel like with Zoom, it's not really the same effect. You know what I'm saying? You got to get in what you can, but I feel like the face-to-face vibe, it just brings a whole different element to it, I
agree 100%. I've done both, and Zoom, while it's super convenient, it's not it's a little different, yeah, for sure.
With this, it's I feel like you're having a conversation face to face. That's exactly what it is.
Correct.
On Zoom, I feel like you're pretty much just talking on the phone, but you're kind of zoning out at the same time. You got your kids in the background.
Yeah.
So this, I waited patiently, and now everything is paying off.
It's great. I'm honored, honestly, seriously.
Nah, man. Thanks for coming. I remember the first time I met you in person. I don't know if you remember.
Of course, it was the funeral.
That's right.
Yeah.
Brian Mulkeen's funeral.
That's right.
And I was intimidated. I'm not going to front, man.
Why?
I saw you in person. I was like, yo, this dude's a lot bigger than I thought he was. He's a monster.
I must have a mean mug or something, because people say it all the time. But I'm seriously, this is for everybody out there. If you ever see me, yo, just say what's up, man. I'll talk to you for hours. You'll probably want to get rid of me by the time I'm done. But seriously, just come up to me, talk to me. I'll talk to you about anything.
And you know what? As soon as I did come up to you, that's what I felt immediately. Yeah. It wasn't oh, this guy. Social media. That's one of the things we'll talk about today. It kind of gives off this, especially if you have a lot of followers and you have a huge presence. You're a celebrity, pretty much. And people are going to be a little hesitant to approach you because some people are jerks out there, and then you got the humble guys like yourself. So like I said, I saw you. You had to, buffed up in your dress uniform and all of that. And, you were talking to some of your guys. And I was like, let me walk up to them and say what's up. And then we got that good picture. And we talked a little bit about making this happen.
Yeah.
And now you're here. Here.
Yo, super pumped, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks. So, Aaron, I know you've discussed this a lot, in your social media, on other podcasts as well. But let's get into your backstory. How'd you become Huge Fat Loser on social media?
So I had a nightmare at work that I died. At the time I was over 425 pounds. I was a really, really negative, miserable person. You could ask anybody, there's a video out there from our job. They made it. And it's pretty much the truth. I was a very miserable person. Ask anybody who knows me, they'll tell you the same thing. I was out of control. I was, eating to comfort myself, all this stuff. And the job was my life at that time.
Right.
I got jammed up around that same time. I had a nightmare at work. I had a nightmare that I died at work. I fell off a rooftop of a building. I got overpowered by a perp.
Right.
I got thrown off the roof, and I had a dream that I died. And I left at the time. My son wasn't born. My daughter was the only one who was alive, and I just imagined her growing up without me. And from that point on, I just got everything. I got myself together, and I said, I can't do this anymore. I got to be a better father. I got to be a better husband. I got to be a better person. And honestly, like I said, I tell this to people all the time. Getting jammed up was probably one of the best things that have happened to me, because it put the job in the back seat where it was in the front seat for me the whole time. And it gave me clear perspective as to what was actually important in life. And I'm not saying, the job, do it well, do it great, have honor in the shield that you wear and the patch that's on your arm. But remember that name on the name tag. That's who you are. That's who you should strive to be. And that's what's most important.
Right. All right, man. That's deep. That's deep. So you initially didn't you didn't want this job initially, right? It was just like something of opportunity.
Man. Most people I talk to, a lot of cops, they that's their dream. They want to be a cop. They want to get into law enforcement. They get the criminal justice degree. They take the path. Me, nah. Listen, straight up, I was a loser. I went to 5 different colleges. I was a bum, man. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I went to college too early. You know how they pressure you to. You got to know. You got to pretty much know what you want to do with the rest of your life at age 16. I had no idea.
That's right.
I went to college for science and film, and nothing to do with law enforcement whatsoever. And it came to a point where I was after my 5th college. I was home. I was doing nothing. I was a landscaper, doing menial jobs, a landscaper and a bouncer, pretty much. My mother was like, yo, stop being a bum, find a job or get out of the house.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who turned out to be a total perp, he legit, he was a landscaper friend of mine. He was the one who's like, yo, you got to take the NYPD test. They're pretty much hiring anybody at the time. They were paying $25,000. Yes, sir. I was like, listen, I could do this. I was like, I could do this. I could probably do this. I was like, I watch Cops. Me and my brother used to watch Cops. I was like, I could do this. I could chase people around, Plus, right. I was good at taking crap from people. Nothing really affected me. I could get yelled at all day.
Right.
And I signed up. I took the test. I waited. I deferred 3 times, whatever it was, for 6 months, the time period. In the meantime, that guy who told me to take the test got arrested for cocaine, and he was in he did jail time. I haven't seen him since, and I took the test. I never looked back. I took it at Springfield Gardens High School, where I would later work and become a cop in that area, which is ironic. That's dope. Then I never looked back, and that's it.
I don't know if you realize this, but you and we went in and graduated at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went in July 06.
Me too. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Company 49.
66, yeah, man.
Company, what was that, day tour?
Night 4 to 12s.
That was 4 to 12s?
Yeah, I was blessed with that because I'm not I've become a morning person now, but I hate the daytime. So
yeah, I can't stand it either, but you wake up
at 4:30 every day.
Man, that's discipline.
Yeah, it's tough. But it's either wake up at 4:30 or don't see my kids. So I got to choose. Am I going to work out after work? But that's 2 hours of time that I can't spend with my family.
Right.
So if the only thing I'm missing out on is sleep by getting up at 4:30, that's what I have to do.
That's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the same thing with me in the job. I did security before this. Mm-hmm. And everybody in my family, I worked in Stop and Shop. I was catching people that were freaking stealing ribs. You know what I'm saying? I was battling with people stealing ribs. My father was like, I remember I actually, let's say I went line of duty as loss prevention. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? My father's like, yo, you over here fighting for ribs and, for fruit snacks.
Yeah.
And you could be on the job. He did MTA.
Okay.
A lot of people in my family, they were city employees.
Okay.
So he was like, listen, you don't have a record, you're a good kid. You might as well just take the job. And I was like, all right, I don't really have anything else going on. And then they got this 25-1 thing going on. Well, nobody want the job, so it's the perfect time to get in. And my logic was the salary's not going to do anything but go up.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the perfect time to get in because nobody really wants it. And then you sit, you chill, and then it's just going to go up.
Yeah.
So that's why I wound up pulling the trigger and getting on the job. And the job has been great to me.
It's
I have
funny
nothing to complain
because
about.
you mentioned your uncle. You said your uncle, right?
My uncle, my dad.
Yo, so my stepbrother was a New York City cop, later became a Nassau cop. He's out 3/4. It was the exact opposite. When I told him I was taking the test, he's like, don't take the test. The job sucks. You'll hate the job. And this was like, I don't know, let's say it was 2 years before I actually became a cop. So now we're going on, almost 15? So that was like 17 years ago. Here's this guy telling me the job's dead, right? So I always tell people that story. I'm like, listen, the job's been dead before the job has been dead.
Exactly.
But listen, ups and downs, roller coaster. Glad I took it. Glad I'm still here. I got no problems.
Right.
Yeah.
So you changed your mindset. You had that dream. What happened from there?
So what happened from there is I started monitoring my diet a little bit, started tracking my calories, and then I decided, listen, I got to exercise. What am I going to do? I used to like riding bikes with my brother when we were growing up. We used to go to the bike trails and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to buy a bike. So I looked up online. I'm like, and at the point I was a big boy, man. So not only was I 425 pounds, I'm over 6 feet tall. So I look up, am I too fat to ride a bike? And
Wow.
and some people said, yeah, you're too fat to ride a bike. You got to get a special type of bike. You can't have this, all this stuff. So I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to go. I'm going to buy a bike, all this stuff. And I bought a bike, and I started at the time. This was right after I got jammed up. And the place that I was working, the command that I was working in, I would ride my bike to the Long Island Railroad and then take the Long Island Railroad to there, ride my bike from the station to the command.
So slow and steady.
Slow and steady, but the first day, I got a flat tire coming home, and I thought, listen, maybe I am too fat. I should quit. I should just say screw it. It was a real it really killed my mojo type thing. I wanted to give up that day, but I'm glad I didn't. And every day is like that. Every day is going to be, no matter what it is, whether it be fitness or anything else.
Yeah.
Listen, there's always two voices in our head. One of them is going to be the one that says yo, you're good. Just chill where you are.
That's a fact, bro.
And the other one's going to be like, yo, man, you want more? You want this? Go do it. And you got to just constantly listen to the one that says to go do it.
That's right. That's right.
So you said that when you first got on, everything was the job, right? Now you went from not even really wanting the job to being very passionate about it to the point where you sacrificed your health. What was it that drove you to be so devoted to the job? I mean, it's great. It's your job. They're paying you. You're doing what it is that you're supposed to do. And you're doing God's work.
Right.
I mean, I had an episode on that. And you're doing what you were called to do.
So it's funny. Even after I became a cop, I had let me tell you something. I had no idea what I was doing. Like they tell you, they don't teach you how to become a cop in the academy. And it is what it is. You don't learn how to become a cop till you are standing right there on the corner, on the street, and now you're in real life and you're wearing a uniform.
Right.
And it is what it is. So that first day, I was clueless. I was wet behind the ears. I was still thinking, can I even do this thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there I am, standing there. Girl comes running out of the subway, goes, hey, I got robbed. And I looked over my shoulder. This is a true story. I looked over my shoulder for the cops. And I realized, I'm a cop. I got to handle this.
Yeah, this is me right here. Yeah.
But I didn't know what I was doing. Thankfully, I went to Impact. I don't know if you went to Impact.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. All right. So, you know how they paid you up?
Where'd you do your Impact?
103.
103
Yeah. Jamaica, yeah.
There you go.
So the guy, they partnered you up by all right, Loman, next guy in the letter in the alphabet, right? So the guy who was next to me was with a K. The dude, listen, he was ex-Marine, he still was in the Marines. He later became a scout sniper in the Marines, and now he's in the ESU.
Ooh.
But dude's legit. And he was he's the one who really inspired me. And neither of us knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
But he was the one who was yo, let's go check out this building. Let's go do a vertical in this building. And me, I'm yo, this dude's crazy. Why don't we just stand here and do nothing?
He was proactive because he had the previous experience in the military.
Exactly.
He was a go-getter.
Later he became a complete zero and did nothing, which is fine. I'm okay. I'm totally okay with that.
But now he's in ESU.
Right. No, and listen, he's the best. Honestly, he's an example of what it's like to be a dad, cop, everything.
Yeah.
But at the time, he's yo, do this vertical. And then I got interested in actually doing it. I'm yo, this is cool. So Then from there, both of us, I mean, we didn't have hooks, so we didn't get to stay in that command. It was like one of those things like, oh, if you were going to stay in the command you were an impact in, you need to know somebody. I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know anybody to go to Queens.
That's a solid command to go to straight out of impact.
Yeah.
Especially you're from the island, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people were like, seriously, people would stand around. This is true stuff. People would stand around and be like, oh, who's your hook? Because everybody else had a hook to get to there. And I'm like, yo, listen, for real? Nobody. I know nobody on the job. Like I just told you the story about my stepbrother. He was a city cop back in the 90s. Like, dude, that's it. That's my whole, like, that's my whole reach. That's my whole reach.
Right, I got you.
So then we both get transferred to the 113, which is the neighboring precinct. And we get there, and they gave me a choice. And they're like, listen, what tour do you want to go to? And it was like, if you didn't pick Midnights, you were getting stuck on foot for another 6 months in that command. I didn't know that at the time, that's the obligation, but I wanted Midnights. I liked the nighttime. I was a night guy. Like I said, I hated the daytime.
Yeah.
So I chose Midnights, and they're like, all right, who do you want to go with? And I'm like, so I picked him. And obviously they didn't let us work together at first, but like we still wanted to work together. So when we worked together, we enjoyed like stopping cars and like doing all this stuff. And then eventually just doing proactive policing led me to the CO XO one day, and my special operations lieutenant who just retired, who's like, honestly, that guy's had my back since then. I'm talking like 12 years ago.
Still does, huh?
Yeah. Like I gotta get together with that guy for a beer now that he retired. He's the best. He keeps hitting me up. He's like, yo, we gotta have a beer, but I keep putting it off. But hey, listen, do you want to go to conditions? And I'm like, I didn't know what it was. I just knew it from people telling me, if you ever get asked to do something, especially when you don't have that time on,
just do it.
Just do it. Because things happen and people are vindictive. And like, if you say no, that's it. They're going to overlook you for anything else in the future. True. And it's very true.
Just for our listeners that are on or that are tuned in that might not know what conditions is, or they're not on the job.
Yeah.
You might just going into
so conditions pretty much was like, I rode around in a marked van, looked like an ice cream truck, like a Mr. Softy truck with like 5 guys in it.
Yes,
and
sir.
We wrote summonses for quality of life offenses and made quality of life arrests and whatever else was going on.
Real simple.
And then from then they were like, from then I got asked to go to anti-crime, and then I eventually stepped away from anti-crime, went to SNU, which was way more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. Everybody thinks that anti-crime is a blast. No, SNU was the best.
Really?
Oh, dude, let me tell you something. I had the year that I was in SNU, I probably had some of the best times of my life. The guys were awesome. It was awesome. It was dope. And then after that, they created this thing. They got rid of it real quick. It was called the Strategic Enforcement Team or something like that.
I've never heard of that.
It was called the SET Team, which was like pretty much what VRTF and those other units do now with like social media monitoring and stuff.
All
but it was on a command level. But so they gave us this thing that they wanted us to do, but they really had we didn't have any resources. You know what I'm saying? So we weren't detectives. We weren't in the detective bureau. We couldn't really do anything. All we could do was monitor this information and pass it along to people.
Got you.
But then from there, I went to gang, and I just enjoyed doing the work after that. You know what I mean? Like, I was inspired to do the work, and I just never stopped doing it. Listen, I still love it. Like, I'm still nuts. I mean, there's an oversight thing out there right now, which makes it like a little bit more apprehensive to do it, which is why I'm happy where I'm at now. But listen, man, I still like doing that stuff.
That's great. That's great. So let me ask this. So you went from riding your bike, and you said your bike, it broke on you, right?
Yep.
All right. So then from there, it broke on you. You kept going. You kept going. At what point did you say, you know what? I want to start to document this, and I want to put it on social media?
So it wasn't even my idea.
No.
It was my wife's idea. My wife goes, listen, I think that if you start at the time, like I had an Instagram account it was an old Instagram account I never used. And I had like 3 pictures on there. And my wife's like, yo, you should do a social media account. You should like document your journey. You could probably help a lot of people. Because at the time I even started, I was already down like 60 pounds.
Wow.
So I'm like, all right, cool. Why not? So it started out as an accountability page, just me tracking me. If you go back on my page, I don't delete any of my posts because I like to see the evolution of what I was to where I am now. Yeah. And you'll see my posts is just like inspirational quotes and like what I ate for lunch that day and stuff like that. And then it just involved more into me becoming more confident and speaking my mind more and to what it is now. It's just, you know, she gets all the credit, man. She's the best.
That's awesome. Now, you know, I've done a little research and listened to some of your interviews, and obviously I follow you on social media, and you've gone through a lot of tough things as a young adult.
Yes.
You know, as a young man. And, you know, some of those things that you've gone through, I would imagine, would definitely play a role in lack of self-confidence.
Oh, for legit, yeah.
So do you want to talk about that, you know, not too much in detail, but just talk about where you were as far as your confidence levels were as, you know, maybe leading up to you being on the job or to you transitioning over to being a social media celebrity pretty much?
Sure. You know, my father walked out on me when I was younger. It was a really messed up situation. I'm actually writing about it. I'm starting to write a book detailing my whole entire life. But pretty much my father told me he didn't want to see me anymore. I had an abusive stepfather.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was messed up. You know, thank God I had my brother. We were very tight. We got through it together. There was a time period I had to move out of my house. I had to live with my cousin for a while. And we talked back about like getting on the job. Yo, I hated the cops, bro. Like they let me down like several times. So like to me, I didn't like authority. I didn't like the cops. Like,
so when you say they let you down, you're saying that you've had incidents where you have been a victim and you felt like you called the cops to come to your rescue and they just...
I mean, looking back on it now, like I realized the situation, but when you're growing up and you have the police coming to your house and you have child protective services investigating what's going on in your house and you're coached by your step parents and your mom to lie to them and shit. Am I allowed to curse?
Do it.
Okay. Like, you know, it's one of those things like you develop a mistrust of authority because not only do you not trust the cops at that point, I didn't trust listen, honestly, straight up, I still don't trust my mother. I still don't trust my father. I mean, I developed like long-term trust, self-confidence issues.
Of course.
That lasted long into, you know, all this stuff. And like, honestly, my success on the job, a lot of that is attributed to the fact that like I sought to not disappoint superiors, like, and I looked at like almost like a parental thing where like,
right.
It's crazy. It's just so crazy, bro.
So
like,
it was almost like you wanted to be accepted or you wanted to not let them down because you felt like with your parents, they never really supported you the way that you wanted to and you can't trust them. So you had that authoritative figure that you could please through doing work and doing your job correctly.
Yes.
And, you know, kind of getting that attaboy to boost up your self-confidence.
And that's what happened where I let the job become my life, man, because that relationship with the job became that acceptance type thing where like, oh, now like, you know, I'm a cop, this is my identity, all this stuff. And then like, it's just like the thing that you could count on. You think it's always going to be there. It's this, you know, this relationship I replaced the relationships in my life with that I thought weren't going to let me down. You know what I mean? And it was kind of messed up. And then like, you know, your superiors, they enjoy the work that you do. You know, you get, you know, the medals and the Comp of the Month awards and all this stuff. And like, you know, it was all the stuff that honestly I was missing. And I replaced like self-love and relationships with my relationship with the job.
Wow. So it's like instead of you getting gifts from your parents for doing well in school,
correct,
you know, and missing out on all of that as a kid, now you're on the job, you're doing your thing, you're getting medals. It's almost like, all right, this is what I've been wanting to feel.
Yes. It's like that straight A report card I never had. Like, dude, like when I tell you I watch TV and like I don't identify with television. Like even I had this conversation with my brother like a while ago. Like, you know, we sit around, smoke cigars, we talk about our childhood.
Yeah.
Like, yo, all these shows that kids watch growing up, like Saved by the Bell, like what's the one with the Olsen twins, whatever.
Well, you got Family Matters with Urkel.
And Family Matters was good, though.
Yeah,
I like that one.
That was good. Full House.
Yeah. Bro, we don't identify with it. I could watch that show and just not even get it. Like, I don't understand, like, now that I have kids of my own, I know what it's like to have a parental relationship with my children, but I don't know what it's like to feel like a son, dude. Like, it's weird.
Oh, man.
So, like, when I watch it, it's a foreign concept, man. You know? So, to me, like, the job and, like, the respect that I got from my superiors and stuff, and like those relationships replaced the real relationships I wish I had with my family, you know?
And you know what? I'm so glad that you're saying that because there's so many people that are on social media talking about how the job is dead. They're talking about how it's a crap job. They get out of the academy, they're working for 6 months, and they're complaining. And you are sitting here talking about how the job has changed your life in so many different ways.
Yes.
So many different ways. No, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like I said before, it's a roller coaster. I've had both positives and negatives happen.
Sure.
But listen, man, the job's done a lot for me, and the job does a lot for people that they don't see on a level that, especially that I see now in my position.
Yeah.
It's wild, dude.
Amazing. Now, with you going through all of those things and feeling neglected emotionally and lacking the confidence before the job, how did you transition over to social media and actually putting yourself out there? Because I know your wife was backing you, but even still, like even me, I don't feel comfortable putting a lot of things on social media. I have to sit there and I have to muster up the energy to do it. You know what I'm saying? And you look very, very confident with who it is that you are, especially from your background. It's like you don't care about what nobody thinks.
And that's it. Okay, so this is the other thing. On top of all that stuff that was going on, I wasn't popular. I was bullied. I was beat up in elementary school, middle school, all this stuff. I was fighting every day, almost expelled. Like for incidents where like legitimately I was being bullied, I defend myself.
Defending yourself.
And I was bigger. I was always bigger. I was 6'4" in 8th grade, and I've always been this height, you know. So people be like, "Why would anybody say anything bad to you? Why would they do anything to you? You're the big guy," type thing, you know. It's like this weird thing that goes on.
Yeah.
So I developed this thing from back then. I don't care. Like nobody. This is the whole reason I said I thought I could handle being a cop. Is like, I've dealt with all this stuff. Nobody's liked me before. I could deal with nobody liking me on the street now. You know what I mean? Even if they don't like me,
right.
I could just deal with it. So like, I slowly started sharing stuff on on social media about being whatever, and people would hit me up and be like, "Dude, like that shit hit me."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and you're still doing that to this day.
It's
still doing that. So
it makes me feel good, man, to like have. Because listen, I've had some. I don't like to name drop people, but I've had people like pretty famous people hit me up and be like, "Yo, dude, I went through the same thing." Like, and we talk about it, dude. It's wild, bro. Like, it's just a wild thing.
So what you're saying is that by people actually saying to you, when you muster up that energy to put up a video or to be vulnerable, every time a person says, "Listen, you helped me," that kind of fuels you.
Dude, it doesn't feel me in a way that like I'm not looking for that, but at the same time, like when they do that, like I'm like, all right,
you need to help more people,
dude, because with social media, dude, there's times people think they're like, I love that. Like, there's been so many times in my life with this social media thing where I just want to delete my account and walk away because it gets so frustrating with like people like throwing hate at you and all this stuff, and like they think you're something that you're not. That like I want to delete that, and then it's like right at that moment, like somebody will be like, "Yo, dude, you saved my life."
Yeah,
you know, it's one of those things, man.
That's dope. That's dope, man. I'm really glad that you were able to muster up that energy and keep going. That's why we're having this conversation right now. And
thanks,
even
man.
Every day I see one of your stories and you say something that's just like, "Yo, how does this dude think of this, and how is he so on point with it?" You know. So thanks for that.
Thank you. And listen, it's not all serious. Sometimes I like to do funny stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
But
the bagel stuff was good.
Yo, man, that shit's wild. That's wild, bro. I still have people telling me, "Oh, Montreal's the best." Listen, I gotta try it. I'll take your word.
Yeah, you definitely do. You definitely do. Now with the job, right? When we came on in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
There was no social media.
No,
like you had maybe like MySpace, Black Planet, Behente. What was it?
There was Facebook, but I remember I had it in college for a while, and I got rid of it because the job at that time. Forget if you had a social media on the job.
Yeah, but wasn't Facebook? It was like you had to be invited by somebody else. You had to log in using your school or your college.
It was
email
only
or
colleges.
like that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wound up transitioning to what it is now. But back when we were on, it wasn't really social media to the point where it is right now, where you can engage with each other about anything with anybody and things of that sort. So what I'm getting at is I think that a lot that has happened with the job has kind of came as it's been a parallel to the evolution of social media.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know? And when we were young on the job, we had to learn. We didn't hear about the job through our main page.
Yeah. You're right, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man. Yeah.
We didn't hear about the job from an influencer.
Yep.
We heard about the job from people that were on it before, or people that knew people that were on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of forced us to have our own opinions for when we actually got on. We weren't swayed much. The only people that you would be swayed by were the people that you were working with, or like I said, if you had family or friends that were on the job previously.
Yeah.
How do you think that is affecting the job right now and the younger generation?
Yo, bro, I could go on for days about this. First of all, let's talk about humor. There's a thing where it comes to humor and joking around or whatever. And then there's a whole other thing where it just comes to being like a really negative person when it comes to the job. And when you see that coming on the job, or even before that, like, you know how many, recruits I talk to that, this is a true story. I was in the locker room changing. I was in BMOC at the time at the academy. Just came down from the gym, and I heard two recruits be like, yo, man, the job's dead. Recruits in the academy say that.
How are you saying that?
Right. How do you know? Dude, you don't even know what it's like. But they see this stuff, and unfortunately, a lot of people, they're negative people. We have a negativity bias, all this stuff. And then we turn to social media as an outlet to be like, I'm going to show them, I'm going to do, put all this negative stuff out there. And it's what overwhelms the social media atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And you have these young people on the job and people who aren't even on the job yet trying to get the job that see this stuff and they think that's how it is. And it skews their reality as opposed to letting them experience it for themselves.
Yeah.
Now they already come in with this bias about how it's going to be.
They already got sold.
Yep. It's like when you wake up in the morning, if you tell yourself it's going to be a bad day, it's going to be a bad day.
Right.
If you tell yourself, I'm blessed, this is going to be a good day, let's make the best out of it, it's going to be a better day.
That's a fact.
It's the same thing, man.
Right.
So if you come into this thing thinking it sucks and all this stuff, it's going to suck, man. And I listen, partially, not only that, I blame a lot of guys who who tell other people only the negative things about the job. And it's so easy to do that. But
with anything it is. But with the job, it's that much worse.
Right. And then post it on social media and all this stuff and, talk about all the negatives. But like, when was the last time you saw somebody post something good that happened to them because of the job? Like, and there's good that's happened to a lot of us, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because it's unpopular.
Right. Exactly.
If you come up with a main page with nothing but good stuff on the job, you have 100 followers.
Right. Exactly.
You have 100 followers.
Right.
But, speaking of main pages, what's going on with these guys?
Who?
All the big main pages.
Yeah.
I don't really see much going on with them anymore.
They're getting taken out, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Which is also another thing, man. Like, you got to let people live. You got to let people have an outlet to laugh. And that's why I said, like, I've seen some pages that are funny. They do it in a tactful way. It's good. Yeah. It's funny. Like, I was a huge Hairbag Times fan. Like, I loved Hairbag Times big time.
They were the truth.
Yeah. But, like, then it comes down to, like, then there's people who are, like, really mean-spirited and say really messed up things and, like, pinpoint specific people on the job, which is, post body camera videos. And I've talked to you about this before. Dude, it's just not – then you're talking about a completely different thing, man. Mm-hmm. Then you're talking, like, almost like borderline bullying, like, a little bit.
Exactly.
Like, and listen, I get it. Jokes, we should have thick skin. We should be able to take jokes. I got thicker skin than anybody. Trust me, I could make fun of myself 100 ways from Sunday.
Right.
But, like, the job looks at it like, if something happens because some cop feels some type of way because they got bullied by a social media page, we're going to have problems.
Right.
And those pages that are mean, I'm sure the job looks at it like, hey, if we don't do something about, like, we have to take them out, like, whatever. Listen, I don't know for a fact. I have no idea. This is my hypothesis,
Yeah.
But, if we don't do something about this and, like, try to at least monitor it as best as we can, then we're going to have a situation on our hands, like, it's not good.
Yeah. Do you think that social media is actually bringing cops together more or actually pulling them apart?
I think it's a duo effect. I think I have this saying called "You are what you eat" does not just apply to what you put in your mouth. It applies to what you put in your brain. So if you're choosing to look at Finest United, or you're choosing to look at other people on the job who have a positive impact and talk good things about the job, not just bad, I think you're willing to be more, together. Even the meme pages, man, like people unify over that stuff. Like one of the biggest, most popular things that I've posted on my unit's Instagram account was a meme from another page about how like cops have to pretty much hide behind a microwave and eat a cheeseburger while gunshots are going off, and the firemen get to hang out.
Yeah.
Because people like to laugh. They need that humor. We're in such a serious thing all the time that like we need that humor a little bit,
Right.
And I think we bond over that humor and we bond over the stuff. And I think that's what it used to be before social media, right? So cops are a negative group. There's this saying, if you gave a cop a bar of gold, they'd complain they have to carry it all the way home.
That's right.
That's
right. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So, and cops would get together and they'd commiserate and they'd be like, oh yeah, job sucks, blah, 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 blah. And that would be their bonding because I feel like it was just awkward. They didn't know what to talk about. They couldn't have a serious conversation. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like that's the job small talk is being like, oh, job's dead. This sucks. That sucks. This guy sucks. This boss
just complain
sucks.
and yeah.
But then that is translated into social media and they think that that's what it's like all the time. And it's not.
That's a very, very good point. Yo, shout out to Tom on the job, man. We miss you, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, I miss you, man. Yo, I seen that video, that retirement video. Like, it made me shed a tear. I'm not even kidding. And whoever filmed that for you, like, did a great job.
Yeah,
man. I'm impressed.
Very impressed.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of support.
Yeah,
he's had a lot of support. And see, that's the thing. I know personally that he had great intentions.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that certain people through social media, they take things so negative. They take it as if it's being directed at them personally, or they're insecure within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they take that comment or they take that meme and they're like, oh, wow, this guy thinks he's this, he thinks he's that. He doesn't even have time on, or maybe he does, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And then they want to start attacking the person.
Right.
They want to start figuring out who he is, and then they want to dig deeper. And honestly, I feel like that's probably what it's come down to. But,
that's definitely the reason why these pages are getting taken out, man. Listen, I mean, maybe some people down in IAB and stuff want to handle this stuff and like whatever, and they love it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, and I had somebody from Internal Affairs speak to an entire classroom. I was sitting right there, and he said, listen, and, pretty much, if anybody knows out there, when they come to talk, everybody like says stuff under their breath and all this stuff. But he's like, yo, don't be mad at me. He's like, I don't want to do anything at work. He's like, you guys are the ones calling us on each other.
Right.
And that's it, man.
That's the biggest problem. And,
yes.
Man, you hit it right on the head.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I hear. I've known multiple people that have worked in IAB, and they say, it's not us that are coming at you. I'm pretty much going to be repeating what it is that you're saying, but you got to be careful of the cops that you're around.
Yeah.
It's like cutthroat.
Yep.
It's insane. But
for those people listening right now, like most people, they don't want to go to Internal Affairs. Like they get drafted and sent there. Like it's not like they're out like to do that,
Right.
like, and they are investigating stuff that we call on each other. Like, I mean, I could list specific examples that you just shake your head. You're like, what? Like, oh, this one got a day off and I didn't get a day off. This one, dude, it's just petty stuff. And it just translates in social media. Somebody said something I didn't like. Somebody, let's say it's a girl. This girl didn't give me attention or whatever, anything. Oh, I'm calling and saying that she had revealing photos on Instagram or something like that. And then it forces their hand,
Insane. And the thing that I have an issue with is like with some of the main pages, let's speak about Tom on the Job because I'm cool with them. Their intention is just to make everybody laugh, right? But the problem is you get the guys that are in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
And then they start going back and forth, and they start going at it with each other, and then it gets blown out of proportion.
So I've had that happen to me a couple times about certain things and whatever. Like I can give some examples, but so you know what I do to avoid it? So before my biggest social media, I used to run social media, it was like a charity called Thin Blue Island, right? Me and my wife ran it, and pretty much what it turned into was like a negative, toxic like environment.
That was you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was me and my wife. And that was like a time when I got jammed up. Like I was like, I'm not gonna let the job affect me. I need to let people know that people care about the cops. So I was trying to put positive stuff into the world. And what happened was, I don't know, around that time period, social media just became different. And like, it just became so negative and toxic. People in the comments, it was like a full-time job to monitor the comments and make sure people weren't saying like messed up things to like.
Right.
So I just deaded it, man. Like I couldn't do it anymore. Plus I had some other issues with the job, but then now I learned from that. So whenever I see people going back and forth in the comments, I just delete it, bro. I got no time for it. People come to my page to see good stuff. Delete it. This is not a democracy. I believe in freedom of speech, freedom of the press, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But my social media page ain't the place to have it out. Have it out in each other's DMs. Don't have it out in the public.
And that's the thing too. I think that a lot of people on social media, they feel very brave. They poke their chest out through the phone, through the computer, whatever platform it is that they're using. Then you see them in person, and it's all smiles.
Oh, bro, it's because ego gets involved, dude. So you want to know why so many family relationships are messed up now because of social media, and same thing like relationships with cops, is because what happens is somebody comments something, and like you said before, people think it's directed specifically towards them, but you didn't say it to them. You said it to them in front of the world. So now they're like, yo, this guy just checked me in front of all these people.
That's
now
right.
I got to check back.
That's right.
I got to protect my reputation. It's the same thing. It's just like, it's like street shit, man. Like, that's how it is. And that's why it becomes like, oh no, I'm bigger than you and you're bigger than me. And then it just becomes this thing where it just goes out of control because people can't handle their egos, man.
One of the biggest things in my precinct is there's a lot of problems. I mean, this is everywhere. It's not just in my precinct, but a lot of the problems with the youth. Back when we went to school, you got into beef. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly where you're going with this. You're 100% right.
Yeah, you got into beef. You went home. If you fought somebody, whatever the case is, you scrap, go home, come back next day, cool. Just keep it moving. Get suspended for a few days if that's the case. I've been there.
Me too, several times. Yeah.
And then you come back, cooled off, all good. Nowadays, you get into a fight, get suspended, you're hopping on Instagram, you're hopping on Facebook. Everything just starts to elevate. And I think that that's exactly the same thing that's going on with the job in a negative way for a lot of the people that are on social media. If you have a problem with somebody, instead of handling it at the precinct, talking to each other, whatever the case is, you might go on social media and you might start talking smack about the next person. And it just causes an ongoing rift. Ongoing. Now other people in the command are seeing it. And it just makes it worse.
Yeah, everybody's juicing each other up, and it's just it's an ongoing thing. And then next thing you know, you got dudes fighting each other in commands and stuff. Like, dude, it's wild, bro. Like, ego gets involved, and like it's just wild, man. Like, people just need to learn to have. If you don't like somebody, leave it alone or have that conversation to their face. Don't be a coward. Like, you go to social media. Like, there's a couple. Listen, none of the meme pages out there right now are doing this that I notice. Mm-hmm. But there are ones you can tell they created that page specifically to call certain individuals
to blast
out.
people,
and that's it. And and like I said, that's messed up. That's where it becomes like a thing where it's like, dude, like, what are you doing here? Like, this is not fun. This is like you just want to take your anger out on people, and then that it's messed up, bro.
Right now, with you doing what it is that with your platform, how did you transition to what your job is now in the NYPD to the unit that you're in? How did that happen? That's amazing.
So this is the true. This is the 100% true story about what happened. I got a message in my DMs from somebody in this department, and they said, "Hey, they're starting this health and wellness section thing. I think you'd be really good at it. You should apply when the post comes out." Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was the 101 crime sergeant. I was loving it. I love my guys. I was enjoying my life. Like, dude, I got to, take a meal on job time and work out and all this stuff. And I loved it, man. Like, I loved it. And then I was like, no way, bro. I'm not doing this. And then the more I thought about it, the more I mulled it over. I said to myself in my head, I'm like, I would be so full of crap if I didn't take this opportunity to expand what I do on social media into the real world job and try to help people as my job. That's what my job is now. Is cops hit me up. Oh, they need nutrition plans. They need a workout plan. You know, they're feeling some type of way. Like, yo, I try to work it out with them. I try to help them out the best that I can and guide them. Like, so I applied. I interviewed. I sat down with the inspector, who's still the inspector now, and I got the spot.
That's
and,
awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you think about it, man. Like, I was in a dark place when I got jammed up. Like I said, the job was my life. Like, now imagine that so I get it. So I now imagine that getting pulled away from you and you don't know what to do. Like, I was looking to retire. I was looking to become an avocado farmer in California. This is a true story.
Avocado farmer? How'd you come across that?
Because I was looking at plots of land out in California where I could grow avocados. So I like California. I like the West Coast. So I was like, how can I move to the West Coast and make this work? I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah.
Wow.
And like going from that place, just being myself, this transition into like, you know, that's why I say, like, if you're going through any type of way on the job, listen, it's going to suck. And you're not going to want to hear it. All right? People are going to come to you and be like, yo, just keep your head up. And you're going to be like, yeah, whatever, bro. But I'm telling you, if you let it affect you in a negative way and send you down that negative path, it's going to send you there.
Right.
But if you just keep trying to get back up and not let it beat you and not let anything beat you, you'll rise up to the top, no matter what.
That's right. That's right. What do you think about all these people that are on there trying to get clout?
So
dancing, singing, doing all types of wild things, then end up getting shipped from Bronx to Staten Island, you know, things like that.
You know what's funny about that video is, like, I didn't even see it. I just heard about it. This is a true story. I heard about, he was like, it was like somebody dancing on a counter at 7-Eleven. I don't want to call the guy out, whatever. He was having fun. But people don't know. Guys need to know, like, the difference. Like, listen, it's one thing. You're at a community event. You're dancing with people. You know, you're playing basketball, whatever. You're hanging out with kids playing basketball. Yo, it's all good to go, whatever. But if you're just making video, like, it's funny, though, because, like, I don't know, man. There's some things, about clout. Like, you could tell, I can tell people who genuinely like to entertain people or have a good time, and then people who like don't, who just like are seeking some kind of validation from social media and the social media universe. It's like, bro, you see what I do on social media. You see what other people do, like Mike, no donuts here.
Yep.
Yo, how many uniform pictures we post? Like once in a while?
Every now and then, yeah.
Right.
Nothing crazy.
My life doesn't exist in that uniform. And I think that if your social media account has to exist in that uniform, like,
it says a lot about you. You're insecure.
Right. Agreed. And I'm, you know, that's just how I feel, like, personally. And I don't like clout chasing and using the uniform to chase likes and chase stuff like that, because it's easy. And then not only that, like, you want to quote unquote say you're humanizing the badge.
Right.
You're not, dude.
You're not.
You know what good community policing is?
What's that?
Showing up to a 53 in less than 3 hours. That's what good, you know what I'm saying? Providing a good service in a proper amount of time and being nice. That's what good community service is. Good community service, it could also be hanging out with the public, whatever, blah, 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 all this stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing both, bro, you're sending the wrong message.
Right.
And the people who go to those things, the community events and stuff like that, they're people usually who already feel some type of positive way about the cops. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no way that your neighborhood local corner crack dealer is going out and hanging out at a barbecue with the cops. It's just not happening. No matter how many barbecues you throw. And I'm all about it. I love going to those things. It is what it is. But, like, you got to find a way to do both, because if you're eliminating one or the other or one for the other, I think it's a recipe for disaster. And the people see right through it. The people who...
They do. They're like, you're trying too hard.
That's exactly it, man. Like, I've had this conversation with certain people on the job who are influencers and whatever else.
Yeah.
And I say all the time, like, yo, dude, if you get caught on camera by somebody else in the public doing a good deed, yo, bro, you're the man. Cool. And that's what the public will think. The public will be like, oh, you're the man. Right. But if you're getting posted by another cop or yourself doing a good deed for somebody, it not only takes away from that good deed, it makes you look like a sucker, bro.
Yeah, you look.
It's a bad look.
It's real skeezy.
Yeah,
real skeezy.
And I know,
want that.
and listen, and I know that that's how it is nowadays. Unfortunately, it's like, oh, if it's not on social media, it didn't happen, and like, I mean, it's messed up. But yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say.
How do you balance what when and what you're gonna put on social media? You know, I feel like you're very active. You know, when do you say to yourself, you know what, I want to catch this moment. I want to capture this moment. I feel like with me, it's very hard for me to be conscious of when, how, and what it is that I want to go about posting. How do you decide, all right, this is going to be good. I just thought of that. Let me capture myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you schedule that? How do you, when you want to be spontaneous, you just whip out your phone and you just go from there? You don't think about it much? How does that go for you?
I literally, unless it's like a post, like a flyer where I'm going to a gym with the guys, or a video that I've been working on, or something like that, like the random posts, bro, I have no plan. I'm just sitting on the train or sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
And my mind is always running a million miles an hour, and I just have a thought, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to post that.
Yeah.
And then, like, I've as far as like what photo I'm going to use, dude, I have I have photos. I just make sure, like, obviously, like, I have photos that I've taken throughout the years and stuff like that I'll just like, oh, this one looks good, and then just throw it up there, you know,
right. But
that's it.
These inspirational quotes or these statements that you come up with, you have to get it right away, right? Unless you'll forget. Or do you put it into your phone and do you actually come back and start talking about it?
No.
Because the stuff that you say is really deep, bro. Like, I'm not even just jocking you because you're in front of me right now. I honestly feel like the thoughts that you come up with, they can be life-changing if you were to actually apply them to your life.
So the videos, literally, most of my thoughts come when I'm in the gym working out, and I work out at 4:30 in the morning. And, you know, people, you know, working out obviously gets you healthy, makes you look good. But dude, man, I think there's no better meditation than being under heavy weight. It's just you. Unless you're working out with somebody else, which is good too. But if you're by yourself, you're just there with the music, the weight, and your own thoughts, and you're just thinking about stuff and like going over. Like me, this is how I self-improved so much from where I was. It's like, I'm just constantly going over my own thoughts, being like, where am I messing up? How can I get better? And I just start thinking about all this stuff. And if I do a video, it's usually like right then, as I'm leaving the gym, or as I'm going like on the train, like right there. And then the other times, as far as like posts, like it's just as it comes to me. I will literally be sitting there just thinking and being like, yo, man, that's wild. I'll just have this wild thought, and I'll be like, I'm going to post about that. And that's it, man. And that's what's funny is like, dude, there's times where I will literally be typing a post and I'll be like crying. Like, dude, like, it's no bullshit. Like, I am genuinely putting out real thoughts into the world. So like, that's why it pisses me off sometimes when like people call me an influencer and all this crap, because dude, like, if you knew like the real emotions that I put into that, like, I don't care if you like it or not. I don't give a shit. Yeah. This is my diary. This is what I do every day. And if people vibe with me, great. If they don't, I don't care. I'm not out there for likes. But it just so happened that people vibe with me and they gravitate towards what I do, and like, that's it. Like, you can't blame me for that. Like, right. I'm not out there like cloud chasing and like doing all this stuff.
You're just
like,
being you and capturing it.
I'm just being me. I'm a human that also happens to be a cop. That's it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's part of who I am as a cop. But at the end of the day,
you're a human.
I'm a human, and that's it. I post human stuff about real things that I know that people who, like you said, have a hard time talking about, because it takes a lot to talk about that, especially to air your dirty laundry out in the public. And that's just it. I don't care. I don't care whether you like me or not. I don't care about any of it. And like, I care about the opinion of God, all right? And I care about the opinion of my wife and my children. That's it. Everybody else out there, they're an ancillary character in my life. They could either roll with me or don't. And it is. Like the post I wrote today is...
the one that I said that I was thinking about, that I listened to a sermon on? Yeah.
No, it's wild, because I'll tell you exactly what happened. A guy hits me up yesterday. He's one of the dudes I've been working out with. Awesome, awesome guy. Like, really, like, real, genuine person. He's not on the job or anything. he hits me up. He sends me a video. And it's him like making this thing to be like, yo, listen, everybody goes through some stuff. Don't give up. Like kind of like the stuff that I do sometimes. Yeah. He's like, listen, I want your genuine opinion on this. So when he sends me that, I'm like, oh, this is going to be some controversial ranting stuff. Like, so I play it, and it was like really genuine stuff. And I'm like, bro, that was amazing. And he's like, yeah, I'm not used to really putting myself out there like that. Do I sound too preachy, all this stuff? And I go, bro, who cares? Exactly. Like, who cares? Like, if the people that think that you're being preachy, dude, they're going to think anybody's preachy because they don't like themselves.
That's right.
That's just, they don't want to hear anything different. They just, that's it. So they think that you're being preachy. I'm like, bro, be you. That's the most important thing that you have to remember, not only about social media, but about life. Just be you.
For the listeners, if you just want to go back and say what the quote was or what the statement was that it is that you made.
It was like, okay, so the statement that I made was like, this is a true story. Half the people that came to my wedding that I thought was so important at the time, I don't even talk to anymore. People will come in and out of your life. You're going to think these relationships are so important and that, making or breaking these relationships are going to be, are going to destroy you, but they're not. You'll be okay. You got to evolve as a person. You can't let any relationship in your life hold you back. And it's really not that important. You'll meet a whole bunch of new people. Your quote unquote tribe will change. All that stuff will change when you change. And the people who have always been your ride or dies from day one, they'll stick with you. They'll support you. They'll be behind you 100% no matter what type of moves you make.
Right.
And the rest of them who aren't, listen, they just aren't. It's like that Dr. Dre quote, right? From he's like, some people made it, some people didn't. That's just the way it's. I don't know, but
I get what you're saying, and you know what? It deals directly with social media as well.
Yeah.
Because you got a bunch of these people that are on there. I like what you said about people that don't even have a profile picture that are in the comments talking, and yet you can't. If you wanted to look and see who that person was, you can't. But yet they have the nerve to sit in there in that comment section and say what it is that they have to say. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that take those comments to heart. So with you saying what it is that you're saying right now, you're just talking about life in general. But we have this topic here, and we're talking about social media, and it applies directly to it.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
But I just want to throw this out there. Anybody who does their thing on social media, anybody, whether, a lot of us have private pages, but if you have a public page, I want you to think about next time somebody drops a comment with an anonymous picture or like you don't know who they are, I want you to think about the level of sadness and anger that person has to have in their life to make the effort to create a fake account just to go type on your stuff. Like, dude, like I don't get mad at these people. I feel bad for them. I genuinely do. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
Because
it's sad.
Like when I was a very negative, angry person, like I stated before, even as angry and negative as I was, I would never do that. So that can only tell you what type of negative, angry mindset that those people have. So don't let that affect you. Just keep doing you, be happy. And people are not going to like that you're happy. They want to try and drag you down to their level. Dude, don't even let it bother them. Swipe, delete, block, boom, done.
There you go.
It's it. It's that easy.
There you go. A lot of your anger, did that stem from you growing up as an adult?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I never learned how to manage my anger. I never learned how to balance my emotions correctly. I mean, I did. I went through ebbs and flows of learning how to do it and then letting emotions overcome me. Mm-hmm. It comes from that. It came from obviously like stressing myself out over the job.
Right.
Where it was a lot of perceived stress as versus real stress. And I let it build up in my head and like I was just constantly angry about things. I used to fight with people on social media all the time. They'd be like, post a picture of themselves working out. And I'd be like, it's impossible to work out on the job. Like, you can't work out on the job, dude. Now look at me, right? Yeah, it's wild, you know?
And it's impossible for you to work out on the job. You're not supposed to work out on the job. And now you're in health and wellness.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
Funny how that works, right?
Yep.
With social media, right? 2020, crazy year.
Yeah, bro.
Crazy year for us.
Yep.
Would that happen without social media?
Absolutely not. But so I say it's good and bad, right? Like I say with everything, man.
Yeah.
There's not a topic you could tell me about in the world where I look at it one way or the other.
You have to. That's the reality of it.
Yo, so social media. Let's get into it. Like George Floyd, viral video, right?
Yep.
Let's be straight up. That video should be out there. People should know what's going on. Like for you to for anybody on the job, off the job, whatever, to sit there and think that like police departments don't have a history of things really realistically happening out there to certain communities, it's true, right? Mm-hmm. It is. And to sit there and deny and be like, no, we never did anything, that's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So in that regard, I think sometimes videos are good, but the problem becomes now everything's a viral video. Everything is excessive force. Everything is just one way or the other because everybody's trying to make a name for themselves to call somebody out.
Here's my thing. I feel like it all depends on who is, how can I say it? If you have a video like that, if you have somebody that wants to stand for good and they legitimately are trying to do something good from a bad incident, it's great.
Yes.
When you have the people that have agendas that are not good and they want to use something that's bad to make it worse, that's when it becomes a problem. So that's where I agree with you where you say it could either be good or it could either be bad.
Yes.
It's all about whose hands it gets in and what their intentions are.
So here's what you got to remember, and this goes back into social media and social media influencers. There's literally industries based around paying people, those blue check marks you see, like I have on the back of my hoodie right now,
sir, we're gonna talk about
that says false idols.
Yeah.
They get paid to make people mad. They generate revenue on making you upset and saying things that I don't even think they believe in just to make $1. And in that comes exactly like what you said. Like if that video gets into the hand, be like of a normal like person who seeks to really have a discussion about it constructively, it's good. If it gets into the hands of one of these people who are just looking to make a buck and stir controversy and make people upset, it's very bad. Very bad. And that's exactly what happens. Everybody's an activist one way or another. Listen, I call everybody out. One way or another, everybody wants to be an activist. Everybody wants to get into every issue on the internet and call it one way or another, and just not, like we said, you got to see things down the middle and just understand why people do the way they,
and be practical.
That's
be
it.
Practical.
That's it.
Practical. Excuse me. Now you even took it to another level as far as different platforms. Like I listened to another, like I said, I do my research, bro. I do my research, and you mentioned that you don't even use Facebook much.
No.
And the reason why is because
it's so negative, man.
How is that possible though? Like
it's so wild.
I know what you mean, but what do you think is behind it? Like how is it so different from Instagram?
Instagram is mostly pictures. And if you want to indulge in the caption, usually means that you're already interested in what that person has to say. Whereas like Facebook a lot of times is like mostly words and whatever. And the algorithm is set up in sort of, I mean, they own each other. You know, Facebook owns Instagram, but the algorithm is just set up in such a different way. And this is what I noticed when I told you I ran through Blue Island. Like, I would post something and somebody, this is a true story. It would be like a post. This is a real post. Me and my wife joke about this all the time. Mm-hmm. Be like, respect to all the men and women in blue and the firemen and the EMS workers and whatever. And then somebody would just be like, what about the sanitation workers?
Oh.
And then like whoever that is, their family member who's a sanitation worker sees it and then they get mad and then it just piles on top of each other on this algorithm. I almost have two different audiences. And another thing is like Facebook, genuinely older. So
That's
older
true.
people.
That's true.
Our parents, the boomer generation, all this stuff, they became what what they thought video games were going to do to us.
Right.
You know, like social media poisoned them. They think everything that they see is real. They think everything's like World War II going on out there, and they just feel so personally invested in it. That's their life. My mother's like a perfect example of like being. I see some stuff she posts, and I'm just nothing like crazy, but just like mortified stuff. Like, what on earth? And I talk to her, be like, "Yo, are you all right?" Like, you know, but
and that's another thing. Once again, 2020, wild year, that involves politics as well.
Mm-hmm.
So many, everybody's cool at work. Everybody's great in the locker rooms.
Yo.
Muster room. Everybody's cutting cakes with each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Getting sodas out the vending machines, having half-hour conversations in the muster room before roll call. Everything is all good. You get on Facebook, you start talking about Biden, you start talking about Trump, and this and that. It's like you're warring with each other.
And it's
all
crazy.
because of social media.
Right. Because people are indoctrinated to think certain things. Like, bro, I tell people this about politics. Just because I sign up for your cable service doesn't mean I got to buy the whole premium package that goes with it.
True.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't need every channel because I want HBO. Doesn't mean I got to get all the sports channels. It doesn't work like that. Like, and politics or anything should not be that way. Specifically politics. Dude, column A, all right, this guy's got a good idea. All right, this guy's got a good idea. This guy's got a good idea. And that's the world. Like, not everybody. If you think anything, whether it be one side or another, if you can't find a flaw in somebody that you look up to, false idols again, you're in a cult, period.
Right.
And, like, you got to break away from that and, like, really look objectively at everything that's going on and try to have a reasonable perspective and be like, you know, try to shoot it down the middle and try to balance what's real. And social media companies and the news media has been, you know, so the news media is no longer exists really anymore outside of social media. Nobody really reads print media except 100-year-old people, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
So they have to compete with something as instant as Twitter. You get on Twitter, I could tell you the news in 1 second. Boom.
Just like
so
that.
Now social media's got social media news network, CNN, NBC, Fox News. They got to compete with that. So they got to be lightning quick, and they want to make sure you read it. So they're just going to put out the craziest headline you ever saw
just to draw you in.
Yep. But they also know that you're so dumb, you're not going to read it. You're going to see that headline, think that's 100% true, get mad, share it, make them money. Now you just shared it to your 200 followers. That's now right. Those 200 followers are mad. So you think this is what's really going on in the world, and it's not. Because like you said, real life is, hey, yo, this is my neighbor. Yo, we're cool. We're cutting cake, whatever. That's real life.
Right.
What you see on social media, everybody being so divided, they take the echo chambers that are the most extreme 10% of the population, and they amplify that. So they make you think that everybody feels that way or everybody feels the opposite way. And that's not true. Most of us are normal down the middle. That's right. And we just got to have a conversation to stop fighting about everything.
That's it. Just have a conversation. And the thing is just through text. It's just like when you get into an argument with your wife through text.
Oh, my God. You know what I'm saying? You always say the wrong thing no matter what. It's going to be translated the wrong way.
Exactly.
Yep.
So then you take social media and you got a whole bunch of other people that are looking at it. It's not just you and your wife anymore.
Yep.
It's you and hundreds, thousands of other people. And now they're like, oh, that's what Aaron thinks. That's what Lenny thinks. And this is who he is now.
Yep. And it's messed up, man. And I've been called out. And since, bro, you know how I run it. I run it straight down the middle, you know? And I get called out by both sides being like, whatever. And like, I love that I get called out by both sides because that means to me that I'm normal and I'm doing the right thing.
Right. I've had an issue with a family member. I'm not going to put the family member out there. Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't even say it's an issue, but more so a discussion. Maybe discussion issue. I posted something on social media, and it was in regards to the riots. I don't remember what it was specifically, but the family member of mine was like, you know, more or less, whose side are you on? And I'm like, hold up. Are you serious? Like, are you really asking me this question? Like, you know where I stand. Right? You know who I am as a human being. The way that I'm explaining this is not because I'm on either side. It was more so to try to get cops to understand something. I don't remember what it was specifically. I'm not doing this conversation much justice. But to make a long story short, it was like you are focused on a post on social media, and you're trying to sum that up as to who it is that I am now, and you've known me my whole life?
Yo, that's exactly it.
You've known me my whole life, and because this message is coming across a certain way to you in which it was not meant to be intended, you are judging me and saying that this is who I am or this is what it depicts. But you know me. You've known me my whole life. Why?
That's what negative, insecure people do, is they project themselves onto other people to tear them down, man. It's unfortunate that it was your family member that's like that, you know, like.
And we got down to the bottom of it. It was like to the point where it was like a 2-hour conversation to the point
privately. So, dude, that's what I say. Everybody listen out there. if you start to realize you're arguing with somebody, this is what I do to people that I care about, or like, let's say it's a follower of mine for a long time and they have a difference of opinion. I send them a DM. I'd be like, hey man, what's up? Listen, I just want to talk about this thing. Because now you're not doing it in a room full in front of other people where other people can see it. Yeah. You're having a private conversation about it. And I personally find that at the end of the day, I have those private conversations with people who have different opinions of mine, and we both come out of that conversation with a huge mutual respect for each other. Right. And it's just the way it's got to happen. Like, if you start to have it in the public, egos get involved. When you know nobody's seeing that, exactly. All is good, bro.
And see, the thing is with me, I take it a step further. It'll go from a post to a DM to, yo, let's get on the phone.
Yeah.
Or, yo, let's link up.
Yes. That is so important. That's what's not happening now.
It's not. Right. Everybody just wants to be a Twitter warrior, Instagram warrior, Facebook warrior. Pick up the phone. Mm-hmm. That's what this thing's been made for.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants to take that shortcut, and then with social media, it just makes things even worse. Mm-hmm. Now you're not just texting each other through your mobile service provider, but now it's through Facebook, it's through Instagram, and it's just limiting the interaction of voice.
Yep.
And of interaction face to face. That's why, like I said, I don't want to I'm tired of the phone, bro. Yeah, everything is the phone. The job is the phone. The job is the computer. Like, I miss that interaction. You know, we're old school.
Yep.
I mean, I guess we could say old school now.
Yeah.
You were born in 82 also, right?
Yep.
What, you 38,
82.
39?
38, man.
Yeah. We was picking up the phone, talking to each other, you know, talking to our friends on the phone for hours at a time. That's how things went. And if it wasn't on the phone, it was in person.
Right.
And I think that social media is really taking all of that away because people are just becoming much more lazy with their interactions, and it allows them to come up with a lot of negative judgments. I feel like the judgments are more negative than positive, to be honest with you, when it comes down to, well, not with everything, but I feel like it's easier for things to be steered in a negative direction as opposed to,
for sure.
If somebody is trying to be positive, if it's taken the wrong way, boom, it could easily just go in a whole
for sure
realm that it shouldn't be in.
Like I said, you got to remember people who take things, and you brought this up, people who take things a certain way and they're projecting that stuff onto you. That's on them, number one. And number two, like I said, if it's an important relationship, you'll hit them up privately. Egos won't be involved for the most part, and you have a private conversation in private. And I'm telling you, it's a lot better. And I've had some serious conversations with people that like, you know, we came out of that thing and I was able to turn people like and be like, yo, you know what? That's wild, you know.
What's the best thing that has come from you being very active in social media?
The best thing?
Yep.
Listen, there's so much, honestly. But the best thing?
Then list them.
Fine.
If you can't just think of one.
I would not be where I am in my weight loss fitness journey if it wasn't for social media. I constantly have people pushing me via DM. So when it has a reciprocal effect. So like when people tell me that I inspire them or I motivate them, that motivates me to not give up and keep on pushing, because
there you go.
People who pretend like this is easy, like it's easy to lose 170 pounds, it is not. It is hard, and there's days I want to quit, and there's days I don't want to, like I told you, I want to delete my Instagram page. I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
But that keeps me going, and it's a reciprocal effect. It increases, you know, my wantingness to do more and help more people and just branch out and like help people who are like I was then. Like I said, my social media account is my journey, my diary, but it's a lot of times it's me talking to the person that I was 6 years ago.
Right.
That needs that.
Right.
You know?
Right. You know what's funny? I told a coworker of mine that I was going to be talking with you, and he said, you know, one thing that I like about Aaron is it's almost like when he's speaking, it's almost like he's speaking to his own old self, or he's speaking so that he does not fall back into where it is.
That's exactly what it is.
And
dude, there's some
right on the head.
There's some posts, like it will be a day where I wake up, let's say, and I'm really dragging. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do anything. I mean, I eventually wind up doing it anyway. But then sometimes I write a post about how, listen, you can't give up. You got to be disciplined, whatever. And that's what I go through in my head when I don't want to get up. Like those specific thoughts are exactly what I say to myself. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put this out there because this is what I would say. This is what I say to me in my own head. And maybe this will resonate with somebody and get them up and get them going.
Well, that's why you have such a good following, because there's people that are thinking the exact same thing, can't say it, can't build up the confidence to document their journey, and you're doing it for them.
Thanks.
That's what it is. And I was going to ask you, do you feel like it's a lot of pressure at this point? You've come so far, right? Do you feel like it's a lot of pressure where you are right now to keep continuing? Do you feel like you have to, let's say, do you feel like you have to improve on your content in any type of way? Like, you know, take things to a different type of level in order to grow more or influence more? Or are you good where you are?
My content? Nah, man. Like I said, I put out what I want. Like I make those gym videos because literally I enjoy doing that. Like I don't have to do any of that. Like that's stuff I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
I do what I enjoy. I
Good.
post, bro. I post what I want. And that's what I love. Like we're here talking about the negatives of social media a lot.
Yeah.
But like I said, the positives from social media for me is like, yo, dude, I get to throw this stuff out there. People vibe with it. It's just, to me, it's just this, for every 2 negative comments there are, or every somebody wants to say something smart, there's 100 positive things that people say.
That's
And
right.
that by far overshadows it. It keeps me going. Not only that, it's helped keep me accountable because it's one thing, oh, I'm going to go on a diet, and then you don't tell anybody, and then you fail. Does anybody know? No.
Right.
But if 30,000 people know that you screwed it up,
That's true. That's
you
true.
better keep on it, man.
That's
You
true.
know? And that's a good pressure I feel from it. And that's really the only pressure I feel from it. Bro, I'm not pressured to do anything,
That's great.
you know?
That's great.
And that's why, you know, a lot of social media influencers, they feel pressured to, they want to get sponsored and they want to get these brand deals and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care. At the end of the day, if I want to make a couple extra bucks, you know what I did? I started my own business. That's it. I personal train people. I coach people. I do clothes, whatever. That's good. That's good for me.
There you
I'm
go.
enjoying myself doing what I'm doing.
Right.
I don't need to be owned by somebody else. That's why I have that self-sponsored tee, is because, yo, bro, I can make it happen on my own. I don't need you.
Right. And I think one of the great things as well, you know, not to focus on the negative as much, but, you know, now speaking about more the positive,
Mm-hmm.
the people that you encounter. If it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't be having this interview.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have Finance United podcast. I
Correct.
wouldn't have met Ralph, Time on the Job. The amount of people that you have met, you're part of First Form, correct?
Yeah. Bro, they flew me out there to that. This was a couple years ago. They flew me out there to their headquarters. I met all those people. Those people are like, you know, those people are great. Same thing. I've met so many people that, man, even Mike. Mike's a great dude, man. Like legit. If he ever you didn't have him on, did you?
I haven't.
Oh,
Not yet.
You should. He's a good dude, man. Like honestly,
I would love to have him
Yeah,
on.
I think
would love to
he's-
have both of you on at the same time.
I would do it. I think we talked about doing one on another podcast. It was going to be me, him, you know, Jay Lacayo.
Jumpman Jay?
Yeah. And
You know what? I was going to reach out to all of you guys, but I was like, you know what? Let me just
bro,
one step at a time.
do you know Jay? Like
I've talked to Jay a
He
few
is-
times.
legit one of my top 10 favorite people, bro.
Really?
Yeah. He's good. He's another one. He's real as real can be.
Yeah.
Puts it out there no matter what.
Yeah. I get very good vibes from him.
Yeah.
I like his energy.
I don't mess, dude. I don't have time to mess with people with bad vibes.
Yeah.
If they're gonna drag me down, I don't want nothing to do with them.
Right.
You know?
Right. He has great energy, man.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know what I was saying before that, but
Nah, it's all good. I was going to ask you, what about with your family? How do you manage the job, businesses, social media, audios, regular days off? How do you fit all that
Perfect.
stuff in?
all right. So like I said earlier, I get up at 4:30 in the morning every day. I'm at the gym, walking in the gym door by 5:20, 5:30. I hit the train. My train is 8:07. 8:07. I'm in the city. My tour starts at 9:30. Right. Then I'm at work. At work, I do my work things. I go for a walk. A lot of times on meal, as some kind of exercise after. And then I come home, and my time with the family is my time with the family. And our deals are the same way for the most part. My wife works; she's a nurse, so like when she's not working, I got the kids and everything, and she helps me with we help each other with everything. Like
That's great.
this is the most important thing, and I talk to a lot of guys about relationships on this job.
Mhm.
When you get into one, yo, don't feel pressure from anybody in your life to be with somebody, to get married to anybody that you don't see yourself in a real relationship where you guys are partners.
Right.
Because that thing, listen, it's going to get deep, and you got to be able to cross that thing together no matter what. All right. Neither of you can give up on each other, and you just got to help each other out no matter what. She helps me run my business. I'm a terrible person when it comes to time management. You saw that post-it? I posted it in my story. It was a post-it with the time for this podcast on my desk because there's a possibility I could have forgot.
Wow.
I'm just very.
you're a very busy man.
I'm not that busy. All right, but she helps me do all the scheduling for the personal training and the coaching and all this stuff, and she helps me with everything. She's 100% supportive. Like I said, listen, it helps. Of course, it's obviously bringing a little bit of money in and helping the family out, making things a little whatever. But listen, teamwork, man, and they love it, and my brother loves it. We, like I said, we grew up together in an abusive household. Things were really, really messed up. We kept each other going then. We're literally always keeping each other going, man. Like, he is one of the highest achieving person. I put it on my social media page. He's the youngest superintendent in New York State history right now.
What?
Yep.
Props to him.
Yeah, he's 2 years young. He's 2 years younger than me. He's a superintendent of a school district.
Props to him.
Yeah, he's got his doctorate, all that stuff. The guy's super smart, cares about students. Like I said, I guess because we were kind of like abandoned. Like, we took caring about others it could have went in other direction.
That's
obviously.
Right. That's right. You took it to,
but we took it to the complete opposite. Where we're gonna put heart and care into the world, and me and him always bounce this one phrase off of each other: is like, be the person who you needed then. And that's why I'm always talking to myself. That's why he's, we always talk about this stuff. Like, we send each other positive, push each other, keep us, us going. Like, when nobody believes in us. When he applied for the superintendent job, neither of my parents believed in him. They were like, "Oh, you're too young." All this, Wow. Me and him, we just kind of keep pushing each other, and like, that's how. I'm very fortunate that I have my brother, I have my wife. I mean, my kids are too young to like push me and whatever. But
I got you.
They motivate me in another way. Like, I look at them and I say, "Oh, who do I want to be to them?"
Right.
Right. And that's it.
At the beginning of this conversation, when you're telling me the relationship with you and your family, I feel bad because I've never been through that. But I know for you,
don't feel bad.
I know for you, it's like that's what you needed,
bro. I have zero regrets about anything in my life. It all pushed me to where I am at this point right now. Who knows where I'd be if I didn't have that? Who knows where it would be if I didn't have all those things break me down when I was younger and something bad happened to me and I couldn't emotionally handle it, or I couldn't handle it, or I wasn't mentally tough. You know what I mean? Like, those things made me who I were or who I am now, and I do not regret a single thing about it. And listen, life is a journey, man. It is wild. You don't know what's going to happen. One of the biggest illusions that we tell ourselves is that we can predict all this stuff and we're in control of all this stuff, but we're not. And we just have to take what we're given, control what we can, and let go of what we can't, and just evolve on, man.
Right. Now, you spoke about when you first got on the job, right? And you were very focused on pleasing your bosses. You wanted to do your job well. Right. Do you feel like with social media, when you see that you're helping people at the level that you are, you get that same feeling from when you were doing what you were supposed to do on the job, and then you would get these medals? Is it almost like the people saying that they have changed their lives because of you is like a medal in itself as well?
A little bit, yes. But the difference between the job and that is like, dude, I've learned to check myself and check that my ego to where I was like, bro, legitimately, I don't think I'm shit. I don't think I'm anything. I don't think I'm anything special. I don't think I'm cool. I don't think anything. Like, so when people, and this is why you can't take either one seriously, positive or negative feedback, because it's got nothing to do with you.
That's right.
It has a lot to do with them. And it's great. I get to help them. And obviously, listen, it makes me feel great that I get to help people.
Yeah.
But I tell this, listen, that's great. It makes me feel good. But at the end of the day, I didn't do anything. You did it. That's you. And I cannot take credit for your journey.
That's amazing, man. That's absolutely amazing. Very well said.
Thank you.
Very well said. Now, let's get into some stuff that you have going on. You said that you have, you're with First Form.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned a book.
I'm writing a book. I'm 22,000 words into a book right now. So
22,000 words.
Yeah. It's hard as far as finding time and like also like pulling up all those things from my past and like those emotions. It's tough, man. But eventually, I'll finish it. I try to make a commitment to write at least a little bit every day, and it's getting there, man. It's getting there.
That's great.
Thanks.
What else do you have going on?
I started coaching people, and listen, to me, fitness, losing weight, all this stuff, mindset, it all comes into one thing. I think people too often just are like, oh yeah, eat less, exercise more, you're fatty, and they all this stuff. And listen, it's not like that. Like a lot of personal trainers and stuff, unfortunately, they don't know what it's like to be overweight. They don't know what it's like to be depressed. They don't know what it's like to be like upset about stuff and like not love themselves and like have this negative self-image about themselves. And like, I know about that. I know what it's like to be like that. So I am taking coaching to like a different level where like, listen, like no offense, you got 20 pounds to lose. I don't want you, man. I want people who don't know where to start.
Wow.
Don't know. Yeah. I want the hopeless, dude.
All right. That says a lot about you, bro. That says a lot about
that's
you.
what I want, man. Like I want the people who have like tried everything again and again and again, and they just need a partner to like help them see it through. And then obviously I have the t-shirt thing too, man. I've always liked doing t-shirts. I did back when I did Thin Blue Island. I used to do a bunch of charity t-shirts. I used to raise money for the Police, Widows, and Children's Foundation, the DEA Foundation. We sold a shirt. It had Brian Moore's shield on it, and on the back it says, I am Brian Moore. And we raised enough money through selling those shirts to build his memorial that we have now in Massapequa.
I had no idea that was you, bro.
Thank you.
No idea. Thin Blue Island, right?
Yeah. It still exists on Instagram. Like every once in a while, I'll throw a post out there just to be like, if it's a memorial of a cop that died or something.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try to stay like low key with that, unless like I really need it for something to like like cop related, like somebody I know is like going through something.
And once again, that says a lot about you because I had no idea that it was you.
I didn't want people to know it was me.
You stayed behind the scenes and you just grinded it out for a great cause. Thanks. And I really, really commend that.
Thank you.
Really commend that. Now, your shirt or your hoodie.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. I don't know if it's
I don't know if
filmed
you
right
can see
now, but you might have to stand up and throw the hood on. But it says false idols. How did you come up with that, man? That's with the check mark. That's the thing that really got me.
It came a lot about what we were talking about before, where like these talking heads, they try to monopolize the conversation because they're getting paid for it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of thoughts nowadays, whether it be in the media or product sales, whatever it is, dieting, everything, it's all bought and paid for. There's not that many real, genuine people out there who are really just trying to do the best thing that they could possibly do to help not only themselves, but help other people. And I just constantly see these people that I know, like, worshiping these people and whatever. So I was like, yo, dude, like, if people didn't just constantly repost all this negative stuff or this garbage or these lies, and they just weren't worshiping these people just simply because they had a blue check mark, which makes them
legit now. Now you're legit because you got a blue check mark.
You're legit what, though? I was going to make another one. I might still that says unverified nobody. Like, yeah. Like legit, like that's I'm an unverified nobody. That's it.
Oh,
you know,
man,
like
listen,
don't copyright right now.
Yeah.
March 24th, was it 26th? I don't know. I don't know what day it is. 24th, 2021. But that's how I came up with that one, man. Like I have a list in my phone. Like literally, I'll be in the gym. I'll be like, yo, you know what would be a dope shirt?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
I have like a ton of stuff I never even came out. Like I haven't even come out with yet.
That's great, man. That's great. And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people with those blue check marks, they make you think. So if they are in the fitness industry, if they're in the whatever industry it is, people may think that these guys have everything figured out, and in reality, they don't.
Right. Or that they're an expert, and they're not.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just that they know how to market themselves well.
Correct.
And they might be aligned with the right people in order to boost them up, or they might be selling their soul. Who knows?
Right.
And people need to realize that everything that you see on the internet is not real. It sounds like it's common sense. Fortunately.
But it's not. People are blinded by the illusion, man. The illusion sells. I mean, A sucker is born every minute, right? Isn't that what like Barnum and Bailey, one of them said about the circus, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't hear that one.
A sucker's born every minute, man, and that's exactly what it is. People worship these people, and listen, in no way, shape, or form am I saying all of these people are bad and whatever. Just because, like, no, I'm just saying there are people out there that could be using their platform for good and positivity, and like those are the types of people that you should be vibing with and looking towards for advice. People who have done what you want to do, been where you want to go, really done it, real world experience, trying to contribute stuff to the world. And those are the people that you should be looking up to, verified or not. The charlatans, as we will, the snake oil salesmen, like you'll stay away from them. They're just going to get you hurt. And that goes back to clout. Like, do you want clout? Or it's like, what's it? The Departed. Do you want to be a cop or do you want to appear to be a cop? Right.
Right.
Exactly. Do you want to be an influencer or do you want to influence people? Right. You should want to influence people.
That's right. Another shirt idea. Another shirt idea.
Thank you.
Great. So if people need to find you, I mean, a lot of people that are listening to this, they probably already know how to. But for those that don't, how can they go about doing that?
I'm on Instagram at huge, HUGE _ fat, FAT _ loser.
Who helped you with that name? I saw that name and I was like, this, I promise you, I'm not even trying to gas you up. I said, yo, that's one of the most clever names or tags that I've ever heard. Because the play on words is insane.
So my dude, Afro Brutality?
I've heard of him.
Okay, yeah. He used to run Harlem CrossFit, and he did a couple things with community fairs up in Harlem and stuff. Dude is awesome. Like, we're cool with each other. He didn't follow me for the longest time. He used to be like, I'm not following you till you change your name. Like, your name is so negative, all that stuff. And I'm
what was it?
My name was Huge Fat Loser.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it was.
Oh.
So he's like, yo, you can't be talking bad about yourself. I'm like, yo, it's a play on words. Like, I had to keep, and then finally, like, we became friends and developed a friendship or whatever. But I wanted it to be Big Fat Loser, but it was taken. And I was like, what's bigger than big? Huge. All right, Huge Fat Loser. That was it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm losing a huge amount of fat.
Right.
Even my wife at the time was like, why'd you choose that name? It's so negative.
They didn't see that it was like a double meaning.
Yeah. Some people don't. Some people are like, why'd you name yourself that? That's so bad. I'm like, I got to explain it to them. But
no.
I can't change it now, though, man. I won't.
Don't. When I first saw it, I thought the same thing. I was like, nigga, but then I was like, hold up. All right, I see what's going on here. I see the pictures. I see the weight loss. That's fire.
Thanks.
That's fire. So you said huge _
fat
_ loser. Same thing on Facebook?
Facebook is just Huge Fat Loser. Huge space fat space loser. Twitter I have, but it's really just like, it's not as good. I mean, it's okay. I have some good tweets on there. I'm not going to lie, but usually I will take those. You don't got to follow me on Twitter. I don't even know who uses Twitter anymore. Twitter, I'm going to tell you the two most toxic forms of social media out there right now. Twitter. All right. If you can't handle negativity, stay out of there. It's a deep hole.
Yeah.
And TikTok. I have one, right? Because it's a quick editing program for some types of videos, like to put the text on the video, whatever. Yeah. And it's nothing on there that I don't post on my regular social media. So whatever. Bro, people get enraged in the comments about nothing. Like, it's wild. Like, I've gotten more negative comments on TikTok than I've gotten the whole couple years that I've been doing.
Geared toward you or people battling each other?
No, toward me. Dude, wild. It's weird. It's a weird platform. But
interesting.
Yeah, so I have a TikTok, it's Huge Fat Loser, and then Twitter, Huge Fat Loser. Like I said, if you don't like me, you know how to follow me. It's
that simple.
Yeah, it's that simple. It's all good.
Where can they buy that dope hoodie though?
www.myname.AARONLOHMAN.com, and that's also where you can look into coaching and buy hoodies and t-shirts and stuff. I got a couple cool things on there.
Nice. Well, listen, Aaron, it's been a pleasure, bro.
I know. I'm glad this finally happened.
It really, really has been a pleasure. I really feel like we could just keep going.
Yeah.
The next time I get you on, I would love to speak with you, Mike, and Jay. If we could make that happen, that would be dope. But I got to speak to them first.
I'm sure we can make it happen.
Yeah? I mean, you the plug now.
Yo, we'll make it happen.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. Well, listen, everybody. We're going to wrap up this episode. This is episode number 12 of the Finest United podcast. Once again, Aaron, truly appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, man.
This is your host, Lenny Bradley. Please give us a follow on Finest United or at Finest United on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. And you can also access this video on YouTube at Finest United as well. If you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. It definitely helps with the algorithm so that we can get more guests on to your liking. And thanks again for tuning in. Signing off.